Welcome to That Japanese Thing. Today we're talking about the recap of the summer anime season and a few upcoming animes that we think we're going to watch. My name's Chris. With me as always is Dylan and Yesh. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Glad to have you here. Yeah, let's just get straight into it today. Yesh, what did you watch last season?
So last season, I watched, sadly, Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 3, terrible
Oh, dear
taste.
God, why, my friend, why?
Mushoku Tensei, Zom 100. I skipped Jujutsu Kaisen because I am no longer going to watch that. And then there is another show, but I can't seem to find it. I think it was Reign of the Seven Spellblades or the Seven Strongest Warriors.
The one where it's a magical Harry Potter world.
Yes, it's Harry Potter.
I think we all watched Undead Girl Murderface, right?
Boss, yes. I did want to say sorry. I watched Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2 for a short bit, hated it, and stopped. So that's what I watched from last season.
That wasn't technically... I mean, I know it's on the list as last season, but that was the previous season. I don't know why it's there.
It's listed here.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I don't remember watching this recently, but it's here, so I'll mention it.
Yeah, it was fine. Nothing... I don't know why they would focus on bringing that back, but just that short little weird arc.
There's been a lot of feedback suggesting that everyone loved the first season and were disappointed that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
In anime communities, it has been brought up as one of those shows that we just need a second season.
I know. I get that, I guess. But apparently there was no more story to be had, unfortunately.
Indeed.
Dill, what did you watch?
Not a lot grabbed my attention. I've watched Dark Gathering and Tempuru predominantly. Does the other shows that we've done content on already. Even those they're fine. They're okay. They're not something that I would rave about though.
Okay, well I watched mostly everything, I guess. I gave up on a lot of stuff though midway through. So Tempuru I kind of will maybe finish. I'm not sure. It's I don't know. I lost interest eventually. I lost interest in My Tiny Senpai as well. The cat one was okay. I think I watched that through the end. Dekiru Neko.
I think I'm about halfway through that. I'm using that as like a watch with someone anime. So
Dark Gathering I gave up on. I watched all of Reborn as a Vending Machine. Now I Wander the Dungeon. That's so weird. Okay, I guess that's fine. That was surprisingly interesting. I mean, just from the point of view of how does a vending machine defeat monsters. It was kind of creative in some ways. And it didn't have like a lot of the cringy stuff you normally associate with isekai stuff, so that was kind of pleasant.
Well, it's hard for a vending machine to enslave people, so yeah.
Exactly right. And it's a protagonist that can't talk, so that's interesting as well.
He literally has to communicate via marketing.
Yeah,
which
he
is
has
an unusual
like 4 phrases, which is the things like a vending machine would be able to like say, like, welcome, sorry, we're out of that, and so on and so forth. That was pretty great. I watched The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. It was real dumb. I don't really recommend it. I kept thinking while I was watching it, I don't know why I kept watching it, but the girl in the story kind of comes off as someone who has a mental disorder, who should be in like a special school. So
a different class, a special school. I think that's endemic of the idea that. So try to remember that these things are dedicated specifically towards groups of people. And unfortunately, the Japanese manga industry has decided that lonely teenage boy is the best market to target for a lot of things, which is why certain things happen in the way they do. I think this is dedicated towards the idea that a normal girl's not going to fall for the people reading it. So they all have the daydream of saving a girl who is too damaged to survive in society. Savior complex?
It's hard to get around that though. What I really did enjoy was My Happy Marriage, which is surprisingly a kind of like what do you call, like a spiritual, not spiritual, but like a spiritual power kind of show, where people have magic and can summon like spirits and such. But that's like really so much in the background. More of it really is like a period drama family story, and it's really beautifully animated, interesting characters. It was kind of like a Jane Austen novel set in a weird anime universe, so I highly recommend that. I watched Horimiya Peace, which was just... It's Fumafu for Horimiya, so it's just like the in-between bits they cut from the first season of anime. There was no story there, it was just, segments of stuff. So
revisiting a world we're familiar with.
Yeah.
If I enjoyed it, I would have enjoyed that.
I both read the novel for Mushoku Tensei 2, or like the 3 light novels at the same time as the season was going on, and then watched the anime. And I kind of think I like the light novels more. But I understand like some of the stuff why they left it out. Maybe it was like some of it was like too graphic for TV, or they didn't want. Oh, they're not going to cover it in the anime, so they left it out. But having read the light novel, I kind of miss the like internal dialogue stuff that goes on there.
It humanizes your MC a little bit.
Humanizes both him, and they also do it for Sylphie in the book. So you understand why she's like kind of acts in the crazy way she does more than you see in the show.
It's presented more comedically in the show, I suppose.
Yeah. But both are very good. I mean, the animation quality remains excellent.
You want to know what's not good?
Sure.
Dreaming Boy as a realist was so anger-inducing that I literally had to delete it.
Well, the one I had to get rid of off my list was Liar Liar.
Liar Liar tried to pitch itself as like a game master of games kind of show.
Yeah,
but no one ever made an intelligent move.
And like the games weren't like well thought out. Like it was just kind of boring. Upcoming season's got a cool game show, I think, potentially. Talk about that in a little while. The Seven Swords I gave up on eventually.
It was a little bit rote.
It wasn't terrible or anything.
Bits of it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed parts of it. I certainly felt like I could get through it. But
I mean,
it's not worth writing home about.
I love the idea that there would be a samurai just wandering around Hogwarts. That was the selling point of that show.
There was a lot of character put into the side characters, which is the mark of a good anime. Yeah. When they don't just throw them away, when they actually have their own lives, that's when I can really enjoy a show. And the Seven Swordsmen had a pretty good concept, and then it actually kind of followed through on its world building as well.
And there were 2 shows that were kind of similar, Helk and Level 1 Demon Lord.
Level 1 Demon Lord was terrible. Not bad, not like horrible, sorry, but like not good, let's say.
It had redeeming moments, and I kind of liked some of the characters from it. Helk maybe was worse though, because all the characters were kind of one note and a little bit boring. In terms of the animation, they were about the same sort of level. Helk was kind of going for Conan the Barbarian style animation, which, they succeeded in, and the main character is basically Conan. But there was just nothing there. It was just like a gag manga kind of thing, but trying to take itself seriously.
The world was flat.
Yeah, exactly. The Level 1 Demon Lord was kind of... I mean, it had like a lot more like tropes in it from sort of things, and some of the characters were were more interesting. So it's watchable, but again, nothing spectacular. There was the Altair, Ryzen Altair.
Mhm.
That was just a video game show. I wouldn't recommend. Did you watch the AI, the Gene of the AI?
No.
No, I didn't get that far either, I guess.
I'm surprised none of us watched The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again.
Oh no, I did. I mean, I watched that through to the end. That's Dekiru Neko, by the way, in the Japanese one. Oh, okay, I see. So yeah, I mean, that show was okay, but it became very samey. Towards the end.
It's meant to be a slice of life fluff, so there wouldn't be character progression per se, but
No,
it's supposed to make you feel like
it was
something
kind of
as you watch it.
strange watching it that way though, because I'm sure if you read the manga, it makes more sense that there's not going to be, because it's just formatted in a way to make everything self-contained. But as you're watching a show, you kind of expect serialization, and at a certain point,
suppose.
like there was like the boss character who was portrayed as like a love interest, who kind of just disappears off the face of the earth after like the third or fourth episode. And that happens periodically through that show.
I
So.
kind of feel like whenever these weekly manga, that the purpose of it is to just appear at the beginning of Monday and then like give you a little
exactly.
chuckle.
It's something to
They
read in the
don't
trade.
change.
No.
So when they get adapted into anime, there's no significant progress. I mean, Azumanga Daioh, back in the day, it was adapted from one of those. So like the fact that anything happens in that show is a miracle.
Well, I mean, it's a 4-panel show as well as a manga dayo. It's amazing they
Yeah.
got anything out of that, and it works. Kind of works as a
It works as an anime, yeah.
Lucky Star as well. I think was that sort of thing.
Lucky Star was adapted, but yeah, no, Lucky Star at least. I think they actually intended for it to make progress. But yeah, it was also one of those weeklies. So
Yeah.
sometimes I don't know if our taste in anime has changed, but like a lot of us Manga Dayo was repeats. Not repeating the same gag, but repeating the same day kind of thing.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But yeah, I think that's everything. I didn't watch absolutely everything this season, I guess. Standouts? Oh, there was one more thing. There was my unique skill makes me OP even at level 1.
It was an interesting concept for how they were going to do it, but I read the manga for that, and so I didn't want to watch the anime.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. Like, he's level 1 of level 1 as a character class, so you can't progress
You can never
by
level up,
leveling.
yeah.
So he has to figure out additional ways of becoming stronger. That's neat. But then it turned into a weird like harem thing very quickly.
Well, the bunny girl is more like a natural disaster with
Sure.
boobs than anything else. But
Carrot
yes,
tornado. Yeah.
But apart from her, yeah, there were like 2 other girls interested in him, and then the bunny girl was like talking about eating his carrot in that way. So yeah.
But it was kind of funny. So that at least was some redeeming quality there. I think still like the best one was probably second season of Mushoku Tensei. I hear some bad things behind the scenes, so I don't think we're gonna get another season very quickly. But I look forward to being wrong.
Hearing bad things behind the scenes seems to be a theme amongst the anime industry as a whole.
Personally, I think like there's like an anime bubble happening right now, and we're getting some sort of collapse pretty soon.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, would be a good thing. There's too much trash. Someone needs to take a broom and just, take it outside and do something with it.
It's also, I think, like, maybe they need to reassess going via formula like they have been, where it's just, like, light novel to anime. And then maybe it's trying to see if, there are ways to get anime to stand on its own legs rather than having it as, like, a plug-in to the greater machine.
Yeah, I mean, people have been playing it safe for a very long time there, and it's worked for them. So I don't know if that's gonna be possible to change. The thing that came back was All Saints Street. I don't know if you watched any of that, It's like a Chinese web comic that they've made into but the Chinese like animation, but there isn't like a Japanese like dub for it, I guess, or Japanese version of it. That was fun. But yeah, that's all. And then as far as next season goes, what you looking forward to, Yash? Well, what have you watched so far, actually?
Okay, let's talk about what I've already watched, and then I'll talk about what I'm interested in. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just this.
Yes.
So, from things I've already watched, I've watched a playthrough of a certain dude's VR MMO Life, or Tuaru Osan no VR MMO Katsudoki. This is the continuation of the series of events. Actually, amusingly, this is one of the first ones that did this trope. Do you remember there was an anime called I Invested in Defense and Now I'm Invincible?
Yep. That should be getting.
This is a continuation. This is like that same trope, that exact same trope. A person logs into a game and does something that's unpopular in that game. Nobody else has ever tried it. It turns out that it's insanely, ridiculously broken, and then they go on to like rule the world, basically, kind of. Not really.
Before you go on, but it's also the plot of Shangri-La Frontier this season.
No, I will say I'm going to contrast this with Shangri-La Frontier.
Okay, go on.
But hold on. So this is one of those things that I just can't stand watching because it's like you don't understand how gamers work in any way, shape, or form. If you've ever been part of a game where there are hidden elements of the game, inside the first month, people are jumping up and down on the fourth post of a fence 75 times to try and find out if there's a bug there or if that's just unusual. People will find ways to break games. The idea that a game can exist for more than a couple of weeks without people trying every method is insane.
Yeah, like
So
literally,
this guy's insane cheat that no one else has thought of is he uses a bow.
I bet the first player of Mario did was run backwards.
Exactly.
It's inconceivable how something like that could exist in a game.
So I tried to build a defensive character. Is the previous one that was like, lol, no one has ever tried this before, I'm invincible now. Insane. There's no way no one has ever tried to build a defensive character. And then this one, there's no way no one has tried to build an archer character. And someone might respond that they say that no, people tried it, but it didn't work. Screw you. This guy finds out how to make it work without any assistance from anyone else in a way that's completely broken without trying very hard. I will say that initially it tries to present a more slice of life, cozy, warm, hearthy feel, because the story is that the character is like disabled in real life and he's using the world to adventure again. The VR MMO to adventure again, basically. But as someone who has read this manga for 8 years, it goes directly to power fantasy harem.
So I mean, I haven't watched more than the first episode of Shangri-La Frontier, but it seems kind of like Gamers, but with VR.
So Shangri-La Frontier,
I'm looking forward to it because it's a real world thing that's happening both in real life and online.
Yes, kind of. There is some real life aspects to it, and his relationship with his real life people assists with the game stuff to a certain extent. So after I watched the first episode of Shangri-La Frontiers, I was actually excited because it appealed to me so much that I had to know more. And I went to go read the manga to see if it continues in that vein. And sadly, just like about 85% of anime, it had an interesting premise, and then it like sells itself short and goes off the path a bit as you go. But I will say, Dylan, in particular, watch the first episode of Shangri-La Frontier. You will love it, I think.
Sure. We'll do that.
Anyone who has played these games where player skill counts towards the game, Shangri-La Frontiers represents that exactly correct. It's not about, I'm trying a fighting style no one's ever tried before. It's the fact that this guy is willing to keep trying until he's learned the pattern. And once he's learned the pattern and using his own skills, he can fight creatures higher in power than him. And the style of what he is doing is not insane. It's not, I can beat the final world boss right at the get-go with stats mattering a whole bunch. They do mention in the game that rhythms and routines matter, attack patterns matter, and like learning how to deal with them is the player aspect of the show.
I mean, his hobby is playing bad games, right?
Broken buggy games. Yeah. So he is accustomed to overcoming hardship. Basically, is what we're supposed to get from that.
That
And,
elf NPC from the episode was amazing. Like just
But
runs off, kills someone
yeah.
on your side quest, doesn't let him progress.
doesn't let him progress at all. The introduction to the show was perfect. I will say the animation quality is incredible. The voice actor for the main character isn't irritating, which is a little bit unique actually. But also the way in which he breaks the game is actually very believable for a game. So I was very happy and very excited about the first episode, and I will say that they try to keep that routine for a little bit, but it does wander off into the weeds where he becomes an unbearably broken character later on. But like, for example, the fact that he sat around grinding the newbie killer mob so that he could get its weapons is such a typical, like, if you played RPG games from Japan at all, finding those things with the unique drops and grinding them for the unique drops so that you end up way more strong than you should be is actually like an actual thing that happens in actual games.
I mean, that is what
So I can
Borderlands
forgive
is
it
all
and
about.
be exactly, but it makes me not only forgive it, it makes me like positive about the show because I've done that. I've been there trying to do that. Whereas VR MMO-san and Unlimited Defense Makes Me the Strongest just has no reality to it, even though we're talking about an MMO or whatever. That's not how games work. That's not how developers balance anything, ever. That's just not true. Anyways, sorry, I was talking about shows that I was watching. My daughter left the nest and returned as an S-rank adventurer.
Okay,
Is a better show than I expected.
I haven't.
I'm
seen
not-
it.
I'm not gonna say if it's great or not yet, but at least episode 1 was like, it had a good set of emotions to it, and it feels like it might be a better show. Because the adventuring party is this guy's daughter and her friends, and we're following the guy. And he's trying to live a good life with a very powerful daughter as his family, basically. So like, this is more about how like the S-rank adventurers that we hear about in Legend from all of these other anime, how their family lives, which is kind of nice in my opinion.
That'll be fun. The big one that's coming up, I think, is Frieren. How do we say this?
Frieren, what's the full name now?
Frieren.
Frieren at the funeral?
He's Frieren Beyond Journey's End is what it's called.
Beyond Journey's End, there we go, okay.
Which I have some mixed feelings about, because it's one of those shows that there's like an artificial hype behind. I think like 3 or 4 years ago, some people decided this is going to be like a one to make into like a season-defining kind of anime kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just been plastered everywhere. All of the anime YouTubers have been like talking about it literally for years at this point. So I don't know. The manga is fine, I think, but I don't understand the attraction to the type of story that it's trying to tell from a mass marketing point of view. It's so niche. I just maybe it'll be great. I watched the first episode. They released 4 at the start.
Mm-hmm. Isn't this the second season of Frieren?
No.
Oh, okay, I thought
Absolutely not.
I saw it released a little bit ago. Never mind, carry on.
Literally like maybe like a week ago from when we're recording this.
My brain might just be scrambled.
There was
I
like
feel like I've
To
been
Your
hearing about
Eternity,
Frieren.
which is like, that's had 2 seasons. I think,
Oh, To Your Eternity, you're right. No,
Yeah.
I'm messing this up with To Your Eternity.
which is like
That
about
does
a magical item that is sentient and lives forever. This one's about an
live
elf.
forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if she's like immortal, but she's, every other being in her life is just like a firefly to her. It's only there for a short amount of time. So it's about her dealing with that. It's a cool concept. I think it's a great idea for like a short manga. And it'll probably be very arty, and I guess if you put enough emotional music and stuff like that, people will gravitate towards it and like it. I just
Everything
don't
comes together
understand-
to the composition.
I don't understand the logic behind it more than anything.
It's possible that it's just one of those things that you're bouncing off of, but a lot of people are
Absolutely.
going to remember as
For
one
sure,
of the better
yeah.
for the season. But if you want something whose logic is much simpler and
Oh, God,
perhaps
no,
is even
please.
better, The Eminence in the Shadow Season 2 is happening this season, which I can't help but to be so excited about. It starts out so well, guys. They brought back the humor rather than the power aspect, which is very important because they kind of leaned heavy on power towards the end of last season. And God, it's so nice to be back with these characters when they're being humorous with each other. I can't tell you how well the first episode went, but guys, I strongly suggest this. Eminence in Shadow Season 2. Incredible.
We'll talk more about this in a future episode, I think, in comparison to some other stuff. So Dr. Stone's also back. It's New World Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
I built up the manga in New World, so I've stopped watching Dr. Stone completely.
Like they're discovering like pockets of survival humanity throughout the Stone World, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been like a revelation that like a radio signal is just constantly being broadcast for millennia. So I guess we're investigating those sort of things this season. I mean,
Okay.
they built like a battleship, like a literal battleship. Like HMS Victory style kind of thing. And they're moving around the world on that. So that's the premise of this version of the show.
This part of the story. Mm.
It's part of the story, and it's pretty good so far. And I'm looking forward to some more of that. I like the insanity of the people that have revived sides in this world. They will have to be like nutcases to do what they're doing. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's kind of an important aspect towards making an entirely new civilization kind of thing.
Yes.
People who are accustomed to living in civilization aren't the people that are going to make new things happen.
Yeah.
It's crazy people. Spy Family 2 is also happening if we're talking about second seasons.
There's Forbidden Deductions. Ron Kamohashi's Forbidden Deductions is about like a Sherlock Holmes Watson relationship, in a Japanese police force.
Okay. I haven't watched this.
But the Sherlock Holmes guy has like a weird split personality. So he had to retire 5 years ago because he would always find the guy relatively easily, like the criminal, via deduction.
Mm-hmm.
But then he would convince them to kill themselves if they were like a bad criminal. And there would be like this, like a subconscious decision of his own. He wasn't really like trying to do it. So he doesn't want to take a case anymore because he keeps making people kill themselves. So his this guy comes to him with a case they can't solve, and he doesn't want to hear anything about it because he knows what the consequence of his actions will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somehow he gets roped into it. And it turns out the assistant can stop him from killing the people at the end. So that's basically like the premise of the story. I think it's a weird twist on a Watson-Sherlock relationship.
Okay.
I think it might get a bit dark at some point, but it's kind of played as a comedy, as far as I can tell. So I'm not sure about that. But more interesting than I thought it would be, quite honestly.
Dark humor is sometimes very interesting, so it might be one to watch.
Beyond that, I don't think I've watched anything else yet.
There's a show that I think I want to suggest, but I haven't watched the first episode yet myself.
Sure.
Undead Unluck has a very highly rated, whatever it's adapted from, I forget. It's not maybe a light novel. It's made by David Productions, who make quality stuff. And the premise is basically that a girl with infinite bad luck, and everyone around her always dies from her bad luck, meets a man who cannot die because he's an undead that regenerates, and their crazy adventure. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but David Productions making this sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, it does look interesting.
Beyond that, there's a bunch of second season stuff as well that's
Mhm.
coming up. We'll do a summary of things in a few weeks, I guess, and we'll see how we feel. But okay, I think that'll do it for this week then. Eh? We can all just say ciao for now.
Bye.
Ciao.